Hello, second graders. I hope you are all staying safe and healthy. Though you miss your school time, let's not let Corona defeat us. Our lesson is English Inquiry into Language and Literature. This lesson is an extension of creative writing lesson you did in first grade. Before we start the lesson, please ready your student booklet. Do you have your student booklet with you now? Great! Let's look at the course theme. Let's read together. You are a writer at Moist Publishing Incorporated. The company wants to publish short stories for children to read. The stories will teach children English and encourage them to be good. First, pick a theme. Next, plan your story. Last, write your story and proofread it. In this lesson, you have 3 tasks to do. Number 1, pick a theme and plan your story. You need to plan your characters, setting, plot, and its flow. Also, you need a theme. You can use one or more learner profile attributes or make your own theme. Number 2, write a creative story. Once you have detailed plan, it is easy to write a story. However, be careful not to spend more time on planning than writing. Number 3, proofread your story and improve it. Check spelling mistakes. Different spelling of similar sound words have different meanings. For example, the words whole, hall, and whole. Okay? Next, check the meaning of each sentence too. If possible, read your story to someone in your family or share it with your friends and get their feedback. Next, let's look at the course concept. The key concept is creativity. It helps us make unique and interesting stories. A creative story makes the reader happy and interested to read your story more and more. The related concept is character and structure. Knowing your characters well and having good structure help readers understand your story easily. These concepts can be linked to global context on identities and relationships. In writing a story creatively, we and our readers connect to the identities and relationships of the characters in the story. Now, let's plan our story. But first, let's look at the rubric for planning. There are 2 points to focus so you can get a 7 or 8 score. First, you used creative thinking techniques to generate many ideas for your story. Next, you planned a detailed story using most of your ideas. Okay, boys and girls, you have to focus on these points so you can get a 7 or 8 score. Okay, try your best. Let's talk about ATL in this course. In this course, we aim to have skills in creative thinking, which means you think of interesting and engaging stories. The next skill is create original works, meaning you write your own story. And the last skill is giving feedback, which means you reflect on your own work and give yourself feedback to improve yourself. Okay, so these are the skills you need to develop in order to write a creative story. Okay, now it's time to start planning. Do you remember the four parts of a story? Of course, aside from the characters, the plot, and the background, there are four parts that consist a story. Number one is the background. It is a part of the story which sets the scene and introduces the characters. Okay. The part two is the complication. It is a part of the story where the problem or issue happens. 3. Climax. A part of the story where the excitement or suspense is the highest. And 4. Resolution is a part of the story where the problem or issue is solved. Okay, so these are the four parts. Before we go into details, let's do a little bit of thinking. We call this process brainstorming. Brainstorming is, of course, thinking of many ideas, any ideas, such as good, bad, weird, or crazy ideas, as long as you think and write your ideas. Okay, so now you remember the four parts of a story. Next is, do you know the 3 techniques of creative writing? We learned this in first grade. Do you remember? Okay, I have hints here. Number 1, key. Number 2, que. And number 3, cha. Can you remember? Okay, 3, 2, 1. Number 1 is keyword exchange. Okay? Yay. Number 2 is questioning. And number 3 is challenging rules. Sounds familiar, right? You've learned this in first grade. Okay, now let's review these techniques. Number 1, keyword exchange. Keyword exchange means you have to use the learner profile attribute and link it to the characters of your story. This time, you can use any learner profile attribute or your own original theme. As an example, let's use a pencil, this pencil as an example. We may think that a pencil can be risk takers because a pencil can write something good or bad, right? Pencils are also knowledgeable, meaning it can write different stories, essays, and paragraphs. It can also be a communicator because it can communicate to anyone through writing, such as letters or mails and so on. Of course, same as the bee, it can be open-minded, balanced, and inquirers. Okay? So you have to choose any learner profile attribute or your own theme and link it to the characters of your story. This is one technique, keyword exchange. Okay, the next technique, questioning. Here, you ask questions in detail about your character that will help you make a story. For example, a pencil or the bee, where does she live? Okay, it's a she. Okay, where does she do? What does she do every day? What problems does she have? Okay, these simple but detailed questions, you have to think of these questions so you can make your story. And the last technique is challenge rules. Usually you think of usual things, but this time for you to make an interesting story, you challenge rules. You think interesting and unusual things. It's called thinking out of a box. It will make your story effective and interesting to the reader. Okay, so these are the three techniques. Now, you know the four parts of the story. You know the techniques in writing creatively. Now, let's start writing or planning our story. First, we need to do brainstorming. Okay? You have to think of many ideas as you can, and we have to write it down. Okay, so this is how I did brainstorming. Oh, sorry. Setting. I'll go from the top to clockwise again. Okay, so I have here river, weather, windy, can be sunny and can be cloudy. Then I have earth, days of the week, universe. Land, a land can be a city, a country, town, village. Or the setting can be under the sea. It can be at the park, mountain. Okay. Or I also wrote here season. Okay. It can be spring, fall, summer, or winter. So these are my ideas for the setting. Okay. Next is the plot. Okay. So here, from the top, the characters in the story have many friends or no friends. So yes, yes. Well, I thought of also the characters experience problems. Yes. Problems can be accidents, can be bad and low grades, can be business problems, sickness or disease. Okay. Then next, the bottom part, the characters solve their problems or not. Yes. They can solve the problem through hard work, friends' help, win the lotto. Oh, yes. And family's help or someone's help. And last is the characters are living a good life. Good life means rich life, healthy life, or good grades. So these are all my ideas. Oh, I brainstormed these ideas quickly and wrote them down. Okay, next, let's do planning. Okay, detailed planning. You have here three boxes. From left, characters, next, setting, and plot ideas and flow. Let's talk about characters and setting first. So for me, based from the brainstormed ideas I have, the characters and the setting. First, for characters, I used humans, okay? I used three kinds of humans. First, the old woman. So I named this old woman Mrs. Pascual. Next, a lady. Her name is Maria. This is a usual name in the Philippines, Maria. Next, a teenage boy. Okay, I don't have a name for him, just a teenage boy. Next, so that's for human, old woman, lady, and teenage boy. Next, setting. Setting can be a small town in Manila or Philippines because I am from the Philippines. A park because I like going to the park. Afternoon, sunny and summer. I like summer very much. So I use these settings. Okay. So I have my characters. I have my setting now. Next, my plot. Okay. My plot ideas. So I have three here. First, the characters are living a good life or rich life. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Next, the characters experience a problem. So what problems did I use? I use business problems. Then I use disease or sickness. Okay? Then the characters solve their problems. So, how do they solve their problems? By someone's self, okay, and by working hard, okay. So these are the plot ideas I have. Okay, now let's turn these ideas into detailed one. Okay, so first event in my story is like this. The first event is Maria, one of the characters, was living a good life. Okay, she had a successful bakery shop. Guys, this is the first event. Next event, the town was struck by a disease. Oh, disease. Like nowadays, we have this coronavirus. So it's something like that, similar. So Maria's bakery shop went bankrupt. What's bankrupt? It means that the bakery shop is in bad condition. Okay, no customers, uh, no one is buying or going to her bakery because of the disease. Bankrupt. No sale at all. Okay? And the last event, Mrs. Pascual met Maria and helped her. So these three are the major events in my story. Okay? These three are the major events in my story. Now, let's move on to minor events. Okay? You have to use an outline. Here, you have your 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 dots, and 1, 2, 3, 3 lines. So you can write here the major and minor events of your story. Okay, more detailed events. Okay, let's see how I did it. Let's start here. First, there was a bakery shop in a small town in Manila. It was very popular. Then next, the owner of the bakery shop was Maria, a 35-year-old lady, smart and hardworking. Okay. Next, Maria was happy because her bakery was popular to many people. Okay. So these are the minor events. Then, the town was struck by a disease. Okay. So now you have this complication. The first three were your background. Okay. Next is the complication. And then many people got sick. They couldn't go out. They had to stay at home to prevent the disease from spreading. So this is one of the effect of the disease to the people. Then next, Maria's bakery shop went bankrupt. Again, as I told you, no sales at all. No money coming in, bankrupt. Then we have here the climax. Mrs. Pascual met Maria at the park. She helped Maria solve her problem. She lent her money. Lent money. What is lent? It means like a loan. Okay? She did not give her money. She gave her money temporarily, but then Maria has to give it back to her. That's lending. Okay? Next, Maria kept the money in the closet. She worked hard and she did not use it. Oh, interesting. And last one, after 1 year, she went to the park and met Mrs. Pascual again. So these are the major and minor events of my story. Okay, now let's move on to the characters. Okay, think about each characters, the appearance, the personalities, and interests. Okay, this is how I did it. First, Maria. Maria is a 35-year-old lady and owns a bakery shop. So she's smart and, of course, a businesswoman. She tries to think of solutions to her problems, so she's an inquirer. She works hard to save her bakery shop. She is hardworking. Mrs. Pasquale is next. Mrs. Pasquale is an old woman. She likes going to the park. Okay, so she is active. She helped Maria by lending her money. She is giving and generous. She listened to Maria's problem. She is caring. Okay, and the last character is teenage boy. He takes care of her grandmother, which means he is kind. He says sorry to Maria. So he is polite. Okay, so now I have my characters, the setting, and the plot. I have finished my plan. Now let's go back to the second page of the course of the student booklet, course reflection. I think I'll score myself 7. The things that I could do, the plus sign, I was able to write many ideas. Oh, yes, yes. I did brainstorming and I wrote my ideas in detailed. Okay, I have my characters, plot, okay, and setting. Okay, I have used creative thinking skills to plan my story. Okay, I think I have a background, complication, climax, and resolution. Okay. Next, I was not able to write detailed description to all the characters of my story, such as the teenage boy. This is the thing that I could not do. Because as you could see, the teenage boy description, it's not complete. I just wrote there teenage boy. Okay. So maybe I should have improved on that, which is here in the star mark. I wrote here, I need to improve how to develop my characters and how to write clearly and neatly in the plot outline. Hmm. I think I need to improve on these points. Okay, so I did not give myself an 8, but only a 7. Okay, so first thing I could do, I could write many ideas. I could not write detailed description to all the characters of my story, and I need to improve how to develop my characters and how to write clearly and neatly in the plot outline. Okay. So this is my reflection. Now, I am ready to write the story. But first, I have to check the rubric for writing a story. There are 4 points to focus on. 1. You wrote a detailed story using the best of your ideas. 2. Your story had a background, complication, climax, and resolution. I think I have this. And 3. Your characters were detailed because the story showed the characters' personalities, interests, and appearance. Okay, great. I'm going to focus on these 3 points when I write my story. Okay, next is the writing part. And this is my story now. Ta-da! So this is my story. After writing your story, of course, you have to again go to the course reflections and give yourself a score. And write the things that you could do, the plus sign, the minus sign that you couldn't do, and the star sign. What are the things you need to improve? And ask yourself these questions. What is creativity? How can you develop your creativity? So what is the connection between the characters and the plot? So these kind of things. Okay, so I think I have reviewed you on how to write a creative story. You did this last year, and I know it was quite difficult for you, but then now I think you remember how to write one. So please try your best and enjoy writing. Okay? Thank you very much. This is Jennifer Kubota, your English inquiry teacher. Enjoy writing! Bye! See you!